off.
No!
Good evening!
How we doing?
Thundercats!
Showoffs! We should have timed that way better, Kev.
Yeah, I should have told you I was going to do that. In fact, I hadn't really decided I was going to do it till just there. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, amazing. How are you?
Mate, I'm really well, yeah. It's been such a fun week. Stuff going down. Good. Lots of stuff going on.
All your crazy Britain's Got Talent shit going on all over the world. People watching you.
Can't talk about it, man. It's just like I've signed the contracts. Got to keep quiet.
Yeah, you do remember you talked all about it last week, though, right? Yeah, it's there for downloading.
Yeah, it was probably a good hour's worth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You broke like every contract that you've signed. So it's all there for everyone to download. Oh, right, man, people, it's 9 p.m. It's Tuesday night, which can mean only one thing. It is time for the Showoffs podcast.
Showoffs.
A podcast purely put together to celebrate the fact that there are people out there in this world who have just dared to put themselves out there. Whether it's in music, whether it's comedy, whether it's dance, whether it's sport, whether it's baking, whether it's crocheting, anything at all. The fact is...
Magic.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right, Kev. Yeah. Magic. I forgot that you...
Magic's really important. Yeah.
Yes, magic. It's not considered an art form by the governing bodies, but I think it is, Kev. I think it is.
That's a long road that we're trying to, a long battle that we've been fighting for quite a number of years now, Gav.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I feel like magic brought the tone down a little bit there, Kev.
I don't know. I think you observing it brought the tone down.
Well, I think, and also not only is this show designed to celebrate other people for putting themselves out there, it is, of course, all about Kev and I.
Yeah, mainly me, and then
yeah, well, I'm not sure, but do you know what? We've got people coming in already, Kev. We've already got folk leaving comments. A big hello to Lewis Campbell, big hello to DJ, and a big hello to Claire. They're on the comments. We've got a bunch of people in watching live though who are not leaving comments, and we just want to remind everyone right now to leave comments because it's not just me and Kev tonight. We got a guest.
Yeah, but before we do that, oh, it's Mr. Stephen Dickman. He's been the center of a talk, hasn't he already? Before we do that, we need to give you a big update on the Tiffany situation.
Yeah, man, I'm just, I think, there we go, Kev. Let's just pop that on screen.
Yeah, this is really important. It's on screen right now, but if you're watching, if you're listening back, we're doing a crowdfunder.co.uk/Tiffany-on-showoffs podcast. We're trying to get Tiffany to come on the Showoffs podcast, and Gav and I, we've tried pretty much everything, haven't we, Gav?
Like, we've tried really, really hard, and we've contacted everyone she works with, everyone behind the scenes, and I think it's fair to say they've dinged us.
Yeah, they've said, we've even asked you guys to go on Twitter to ask her gracefully, of course, to join us and be a guest on our podcast. But we've had nothing, have we, Gab? We've not had a response from our manager or our agent, or we've not had any acknowledgement, not even a like of a tweet.
Kev, do you know what? We've had fuck all, like literally fuck all. The guy from Thundercats said yes. He was like, I'll come on your show. I'm like the biggest legend in the world. Tiffany, who did write the greatest pop song of all time, or she didn't write it, sorry, she performed the greatest pop song of all time. She's not even interested, Kev. So, do you know what? We'll get her on. It'll happen. We need everybody's help, though. Listen, we've got a whole bunch of other people coming in the comments. Big hello to Graham, to Stephen, to Nikki, to Rachel, we've got James, who's... I'm just going to pop this up on the screen. This is a wee clue here. James has just put a comment on that says, running punks, barmy army. Now, that is a little clue to who we've got on the show tonight. And then also a big hello to Paul, Noreen, Craig, Stephen Dickman. Yes. Oh, mate, hang on a minute. I don't know how I feel about this, Stephen. You can't, mate. You're just going to do what Tiffany did. At least you've messaged us.
Stephen's essentially said that he's going to dingy his wife on her 40th birthday so we can listen to our podcast.
No, he's saying that he's not. He's saying that he's going to dingy us.
He's here right now. He should be out there.
Yeah, she's in the toilet. She's in the toilet.
All right, toilet break. Stephen, what are you doing, man?
And listen, we've got Paul Gabriel in as well. He's with the Running Punks too. We're going to come on to that very, very shortly. So a big hello. Everybody, you are most welcome in the Showoffs podcast
welcome,
tonight.
Everyone.
I think it's only time that we let you know who we've got on the show. So, Kev, can I just give a wee bit of backdrop as to how we came about finding this wonderful human being for our show tonight?
Bring it on.
Because it does involve Stephen Dickman, whose wife turns 40 today in Ohio. Happy birthday, Mrs. Dickman. Now, I got a message from Stephen last week sometime, a direct message on Twitter, and all it said was, you need to watch this. I've just watched this guy, and he's got my day off on the most incredibly positive start. Get him on the show. And I watched one YouTube video from the legend that is Jimmy Watkins. And mate, within about 30 seconds of watching this video, I was messaging you saying, we're getting this guy on the show. And you were like, aye, let's do it. So, will we welcome him on, Kev?
Without further ado, dude, I'll do the drum roll. You could do the proper introduction.
Let's go. So this man started out as an athlete, became an absolute rock and roll legend. Now he runs and listens to music at the same time. It's Mr. Jimmy Watkins.
Hooray,
Jimmy Watkins.
Jimmy.
Let's go, Kev.
Jimmy.
You got to press the button.
He's there.
Yes!
He's there. Yes, Jimmy Watkins. Welcome to the show.
Mate, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just walking through my finger curtain.
Yes. We should have had someone there to open that for you, Jimmy. Sorry. Normally we send little people down to pull that back. No, not today.
That was a silly thing to do.
Listen, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Are you keeping well, Jimmy?
I'm very well. Like, I'm really good. I'm usually up at this time, but I'm not talking at this time, so this is different for me. I'm skiing off piste right now.
Brilliant. Well, it's a pleasure to have you skiing off piste with the Showoffs podcast. I think it's fair to say that this show pretty much skis off piste every single week. So yeah, man, it's all good. But listen, when Kev and I were chatting and watching your videos, mate, we were just blown away. But before we get to the videos, we want to just kind of set the scene a little bit. So correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
You were you are a runner, but you competed in the world of athletics. You did pretty good. You were at a, shall we say, reasonable level. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, you chucked it all in, mate, to go and be a rock star. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's spot on. Like, yeah, that's spot on.
And then you did it. You toured. You had a band, which we're going to find out all about. And then you chucked that in, which we're going to find out later why. You chucked that in, back to running, except this time whilst reviewing songs. That's, as far as we know, that is your life, Jimmy Watkins. So let's go right back to the beginning, mate. Tell us about Jimmy Watkins. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? How did you get into running? Let's start there.
Okay, I was born in Johannesburg in South Africa. And then I moved to Wales when I was 3 or 4. As soon as I moved there, I think I just wanted to be a runner. I think my dad and my mum tell me stories that I started running quite young. And then I played rugby, which is kind of compulsory when you're from the valleys in Wales. And then I went to boarding school for sixth form. Yeah, I went to private school in England for 2 years on a sports scholarship. So I was still cool. I had to use real money in a tuck shop. I didn't have like my daddy's bank or anything. I had to pay with coins. And then after that, I went to Sydney to live for a year to play rugby.
Wow. Who did you play for in Sydney?
Sydney University.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. And then I came home and played rugby in Wales. Played 3 games without touching the ball once. And then I said to my dad, if that happens one more time, I'm quitting. It happened, and then I started running. So I was 22, I think, when I started doing athletics properly.
Is this a metaphor that you didn't touch the ball once, or is this literally a description of what happened?
It's a metaphor. Basically, no other rugby player kissed me on the lips for 4 games.
Is that another metaphor? I don't know what. I'm getting confused now. So they didn't pass you, they didn't like you, so they didn't throw the ball to you, or you just didn't try, or what's going on?
I was just on the wing. I was a little skinny guy on the wing, and I just wasn't needed it was big donkey work day every day in
man. So the switch to athletics, did that happen when you were out in Australia?
No, that happened in boarding school. That happened in Millfield. It was like the Karate Kid, but for running, where I was warming up for a rugby game, and the PE teacher who competed, I think it was like the LA Olympics in the triple jump, he saw me jogging and literally just called me over, and he said to me, "You're a runner. Don't waste your time playing this sport. Let me teach you to be an 800-meter runner." And he just knew straight away what my event would be. So I did it for 2 years in school, but kind of when the rugby season was over. So it was just something I did when I wasn't playing rugby. But it took until those 4 games where nobody kissed me for me to realise I want to run full time.
Nice, man. So that transition into the running then, how quickly did things start to take off in athletics for you?
Really quick. When I first started, I was a sprinter because I put a bit of muscle on from rugby. So I started sprinting. I didn't like that because it was just over too quick. It was really macho. It didn't really suit me. And then I just remembered, I just had like a flashback from a movie that, I remember that PE teacher. Maybe he was right. Maybe I should try 800 meters. So I made the switch to that. I dyed my hair because I was like, I'm a different person now. I am 800 meters doing.
Is that a thing in athletics? You change your event or in sport rather, you change your genre of sport and you dye your hair?
Yeah, definitely. Like 800 meters is the jazz of the track event. You start in a lane and then you just get to mix it up and just do what you want. It's free form running. So I figured the blonde hair would suit that. And it just went from my dad driving me down the track because I didn't really have a coach. We were finding out who the best runner was, kind of. And it was a case of stay as close to those people as you can. And then I was beating them from the start, really. So it happened quite quickly. Yeah, it happened quite quickly.
Cool. So what was your best time? What's your PB for 800 meters?
1 minute 46.3, I think, or 0.2.
Man, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. It bugs me that I didn't get the 1:45, which I think is, like, if you get that, then you're cool. You're definitely faster than anybody's dad. But at the moment, like a 1:46, I'm faster than most people's dads.
Yeah, man. Right. Love it. So it happened quite quickly. How far did it go though?
I broke the Welsh record on a Sunday in Sheffield, and then 3 months later, I broke it twice on a weekend in Moscow at the World Championships, and I came sixth. Yeah, I came sixth in the World Championships, and I was the first Brit to make an 800 meter or a middle distance final for 30 years or something. So, no pressure there.
That's incredible, mate. And so, what other Welsh runners are there? Who would we know?
My hero, Ewan Thomas. Like, he doesn't run any.
Is that the ginger guy?
Yes.
Yes. He's now a TV presenter.
Did he die as well, or was that natural?
Did he what?
Did he dye his hair as well? Was that?
I think he did.
I remember he did for a while. I mean,
yeah, he was my hero, and I think I loved him, and I watched him run, and I really just wanted to be a runner like him. So Ewan Thomas, we got Colin Jackson,
of course,
Jamie Balsh.
Oh yeah,
Di Green was world champion, 400 meter hurdler. His dad lives on the end of the road.
There's something in the water.
True story. I've got his ladder. He left the ladder. And then there's loads. Don't put me on the spot. I can't remember. There's loads.
Well, I couldn't think of a single one. But now that you've mentioned Ewan Thomas and Colin Jackson. I mean, Colin Jackson's an absolute legend.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
He was. Is he not still world record holder?
There was that Chinese hurdler who I remember, and he had a nightmare in Beijing Olympics when all the pressure was on him. I don't think he I think he was a world record holder.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure, but Colin Jackson definitely had the world record, but he never won the Olympics, did he? Wasn't it
I
weird?
think you're right. I think you're maybe right. I mean, you should know this.
I know, I should know, but I'm so bad with my athletics knowledge.
So you were touring, right? What age were you at this point? And you were just touring around the world entering athletics competitions?
I was 23, 24.
And this is like, who pays you for this? Is this British Athletics, or is it a sponsorship, or what was being intrigued by that aspect of it?
Yeah, I worked in Virgin Megastore in Cardiff in the stockroom. They just didn't trust me with customers. I would just be a bit weird. No, that sounded really bad then. I wasn't a bit weird, but like they would like just leave him in the stockroom. He's got too much energy for the shop floor. That's what. So I worked there. I had a little bit of funding, not a lot, and then it was a case of like being a horse and a jockey at the same time. You just went chasing prize money.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got a message here from Stephen Dickman. I'm just going to pop up on the screen. Jimmy, your positivity is magic. I'll be tuning in later. I want to stay married. She's pretty good to me.
I didn't even know I was married to Stephen Dickman.
Brilliant. Right, Stephen, we'll catch up with you later on the download. Just going to remind everyone that's listening, you can, it's listening live. I realise if you're on download later on that this doesn't work, but feel free to chuck some questions in for Jimmy. We're just finding all about the athletics part of Jimmy's career at this stage. So, Jimmy, when does there come a point where you think, right, I'm the 6th fastest dude in the world for my event, for the 800 meters. It's taken me all over the world. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. What was the thing that you had to do what was the thing that pulled you away from it all?
I hate the smell of running tracks.
Really?
Yeah, I just hate the smell of them. It's just, I think it became one of those things that, like a smell will just become associated with something. And the smell of a running track just, I think as more and more pressure got put on the races, I started feeling more and more nervous. And this smell of burning rubber of the track in the summer, it just, that was one thing that put me off. I was like, I can't handle this anymore. It's like being a chef and hating the smell of food. It was just like, I had to take my nose away from the sport. But my issue is that the minute I'm alone, I'll pick up a book, and I spent a lot of time on my own as a runner, going around racing, hanging around in hotels before races. So I would take a book with me and I would read, and I don't know what it is about when I read a book, I become like soft. Something happens to me. I don't feel up to competing. I don't feel like I've got that hard edge psychologically anymore. I just feel like I just want to hang out with my thoughts and write stuff down. And honestly, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was just spending more and more time thinking about art, thinking about music, that just getting in that mindset to go on a track and want to be faster than anybody else.
Was music a part of your life? I mean, it must have been a part of your life at this point then. I mean, you said you worked at Virgin Megastore, but was there an instrument that you played or singing, or what was it for you?
Yeah, I played guitar and sung in bands when I was in school. Right. And after school, and I did creative writing in university, so a lot of it was like I was into writing lyrics and things like that. And then just because I had so much spare time on my hands, because I didn't really have a proper job, I got my training done quite early. It was just, I would just sit down and write songs and listen to music pretty much all day.
And who were the bands and the artists that you were into at that time?
I was my favorite band ever is Supergrass. So
nice.
I love Supergrass. I saw them live at T in the Park one year. It's amazing.
Okay, so here's the question then. Favorite Supergrass song?
Favorites? Oh my word. It's probably Richard III. I know it's like a big single, but Richard III, or I don't know. I like the weird ones like Jesus Came from Outer Space.
Yeah, I love that album. What's the name of that album? That's song?
Called Supergrass. It's just called Supergrass album.
Yeah, I love Sitting Up Straight.
Yes.
That for me was just such a tremendous tune. It was. I've got a feeling it was a B-side on the single, but that for me is I was a massive Supergrass fan, Jimmy. That's a great shout, by the way. There was a song on that album. I think
I'm really terrible with lyrics and names of songs and things like that. It was like Mirror for the Sun. It was a really slow moving. Don't know what you've done. You're a mirror for the sun. And there's all these kind of slowly moving, sort of backing vocals that go down in pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
about? Eon.
Yeah, right. I think you're right. Yeah.
And there's like 14 guitars on it, or just loads.
It's just layered right up. I love that tune. That was
It's one of the bands that I've never actually been to see live, and because Kev and I are hugely into music as well. Like we were massive fans of like Shed 7.
That's our favorite.
And me and Kev, a few Christmases ago, about 4 Christmases ago, we went to see Shed 7 in Glasgow, and we were just, all the words came flooding back, and I just know that if we went to see Supergrass tonight, wouldn't it be great to go to a gig? But if we went to see Supergrass tonight,
on the stereo.
Absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So who else? So Supergrass number one. Who else?
Band called Future of the Left. I was but before I was in them, so they did. They did 2 albums before I joined, and their first album is called Curses, and it's probably my favorite, one of my favorite albums ever.
So give us the name of the band again.
Future of the Left.
Right, I'm just going to type this up here so that
we've got that. So I'm not familiar with Future of the Left. What was it? Kind of in that genre of what, Britpop, rocky? What was it, like electronica?
It's a weird one because I'm so in love with Britpop. Like I grew up listening to. I mean, obviously David Bowie's not Britpop, but it's similar. Like it was like David Bowie, Blur, Supergrass. That's all the stuff I loved. And then just this band, Future of the Left, I was working with someone and he told me about them. And he said, they're a Cardiff band, check it out. And I listened to it and I really didn't like it. I was like, this is weird. This is so weird. And I remember just sticking at it, just kept listening to it. And like every time I listened to an album, one song would stick out as my favorite, and then it'd be a different song. And eventually it was just the whole album I loved. So
do you not just love that when that happens though? Like, you know how you always get an album that's a bit of a grower, for something makes you stick with it though. That I love that about music. You don't like it, but I'm going to keep listening, and before you know it, it's the greatest album you've ever heard. I love when you find something like that. And
it was weird because part of me, like, I knew they were a Cardiff band, and I knew, like, I'd heard about them, so I knew they all had normal jobs. And I was thinking how weird it would be to explain to people in work that this is the music you made. And I think that's what I really loved about it. Like, because I was working in a shop, and I was like one of the top runners in the country. I already felt like how exciting it was to do something that your colleagues didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I kind of loved that you could go to work and you just lived in this world that people didn't really understand, and they probably didn't even want to know about. So I thought, how cool would it be to do that with music? And I think that's why I just really stuck at it, because I was like, I would love to work with these people in an office and tell them, I get what you're doing. I don't know. I just had this weird thing that it'd be nice. I felt that it would be nice to someone to understand what you did in your spare time while working. I don't know.
Brilliant. So what was that moment then? You chucked athletics. You needed to follow this passion for art, for music, for writing lyrics. What was the first step? Like, did you start doing gigs on your own? Did you join a different band? Because you don't just wake up one day and say, I'm no longer a runner, I'm now the front man of that band that already exists. what was the bit in between?
I knew I was going to quit. I knew I'd had enough of athletics. So I did a few more races, and I kind of, my heart wasn't in it. I went to a different coach, which to this day I feel bad about, because the coach I worked with when I won stuff was just like a lovely guy, like such a lovely guy, and he didn't have a lot of athletes with him. So, you know, I had a good relationship with him, but I kind of thought if I trained with someone else, I might fall in love with the sport again, and it just didn't work. And then I just did one more race in Cardiff for Wales. And that was it. I just said, like, to my dad, I said, look, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Same as with the rugby, really. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm just going to start a band. And he got it. He understood it. He was like, go for it. Because I think he knew like the kind of journey I was on, that I struggled with rugby because it was a team sport, and I just wanted to be free. I just wanted to get that ball and run. And then that's why I went to athletics, because it was like a freedom I was looking for in rugby. Like it was all running. And I think he just saw that he's learning that. Like I could feel him just watching me thinking, he's learning now. There's not that much freedom in this sport either. So it's just a matter of time till he goes chasing something else. So when you're 24, 25, to you, like the ultimate freedom is just to be in a rock band, isn't it? So
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Stephen's marriage is obviously not that important to him, because he's just thrown in a wee comment saying that's it, take a chance. So, Stephen, I'm glad you've chosen us over your wife's 40th. So brilliant.
So
Mate,
Jimmy, can I ask a few quick questions as well? As a kid, I was in a band as well. I was a bass guitarist, which was, I think, still the coolest instrument you can have when you're in a band.
Yeah.
And the thing I want to ask you is more about, you joined a band. Were you bringing song ideas, lyrics, music? Were you bringing that to the band, or were they kind of like, we do all that? These two guys do all that sort of stuff already, and we just want you on guitar, or we want you to do something else. How did that work out? That dynamic?
And why did you join them? Like, how did that even happen? If they're your favorite band, how do you join your favorite band?
It's a good point, actually.
Because does that mean that I can now be in like the Rolling Stones?
Yes,
how does it work?
100%. Anybody can be in the Rolling Stones. It involved buying a lot of pints for people on nights out. No, what happened was, I had my own band, and we were called Strange News from Another Star. And we started off as a two-piece. So it was me and my training partner at the time, who I ran with, on drums. And he's now like a super famous ultramarathon runner. He's just gone on to, I think he came 6th in the Mont Blanc 100 miler last year.
Wow.
He's just amazing. So we started a band together, and we did a gig. Like, we just got a gig in a pub in Cardiff below a dartboard on the night that Joe Kazagi won the world champ. Like, whatever it's called in boxing, I don't know. He got the big belt, but they never see them wearing it with trousers. He won that belt. And we just gigged loads. We just said yes to everything. And then we had a bass player. A bass player joined us, because like a two-piece, it was sounding weird. And then, I don't know, like, we played a bill with Future to the Left. We were on first, and they were on later on. And they kind of just watched us and liked it, and asked us to do a gig in London. So we did a gig in London with them. And then the bass player left. And then the singer wanted to write something for a side project. So he asked me to help him write something for a side project. And I think we were going to be called City of Exploded Children. And and we started writing as like a new band, but then it just became easier to be Future to the Left. And that's what happened.
Wow. So were you on guitar? Were you doing any vocals?
Yeah, I was on guitar, sometimes bass, sometimes keyboard, and I did a bit of backing vocals. I probably should have sung everything, to be honest, because my voice is totally kick-ass. But I just did a bit of backing. Actually,
we do love a bit of show-offs on this podcast.
I was just going to say, we're not called Showoffs the podcast for no reason. This is why you're here, my man. I should have done all the tunes because my voice is kick-ass.
Yeah.
I should have sung them all. Like, I should have been the front man. I was the youngest by 8 years in the band. I should have had my top off. I was ripped. They were all slobs. So, that's why they didn't mean. That's why you never heard of them, because I wasn't the front man.
Did you at any point build a lyric into a song that went along the lines of, "You should have seen me in Russia. I was 6th."
We had a song called "Failed Olympic Bid." I had nothing to do with it. I just wrote a two-note guitar part that I play all the way through it on like 4 different guitars, but it's just 2 notes. I had nothing to do with the lyrics for that. Andrew, the singer, wrote all the lyrics. We had another song called "Fucked Up Runners." I put a few lyrics in songs about, like, there was one lyric, I had a shirt with my best times on. So, like, I don't know, like maybe like a little humble brag about running. But yeah, it was quite an odd, lyrically nothing to do with the real world really, so I couldn't really get much of I couldn't really talk about my running in there.
Well, do you know, I'm looking forward to having a good listen. So, at what album do you join the band?
I joined the band on their album The Plot Against Common Sense, which is the second worst album they did. It won the Welsh Music Prize for some reason.
Okay.
I think Kate LeBon was robbed. She should have won it. And then I played on the album after that, which is called How to Stop Your Brain in an Accident, or How to Stop Your Brain in an Emergency. No, How to Stop Your Brain in an Accident.
I'm glad you know the name of your own albums, Jimmy.
I know, yeah. Well, they're quite long titles, aren't they? Like I'm used to Supergrass, like Supergrass 1, Supergrass 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, so we've got Children of City of Exploded Children, Strange News from Another Star, Future of the Left, The Plot Against Common Sense. These are all really lengthy, epic, if you don't mind me saying, titles for everything. You guys were really dreaming big and probably have a love of science fiction as well. I can't think what else.
Definitely, yeah. That's well, Strange News from Another Star came from, it is a Blur song on the album Blur. It's like a really weird acoustic song, and it's also a Herman Hesse short story. And Herman Hesse, actually, I don't give him enough credit for a dead German writer, but he was one of the reasons I quit athletics, because he had a book called Narcissus and Goldman, and it's about two personalities, someone who's really artistic and out there and someone who's really disciplined. And I read it while training in Portugal for the World Championships, and I was like, oh my God, like this feels like this book is speaking to me. It's about two characters, but they feel like the same character, and there's a battle, like who's going to win, art or reason. And I saw reason as running, and I saw art as wearing double denim and sweating on stage.
Love it.
So
listen, how far did it go with the band?
We won, like, the main thing is like we won Welsh Album of the Year, so we were in the newspapers and on the news. So that's something that like your grandparents knew about and your parents. So that justified what you were doing. But we toured America, Australia, Europe. We played Reading and Leeds.
Wow.
Yeah, we did some cool stuff. We did some really cool stuff. I just wish it was with a different band.
All right. That's quite cut. I mean, I don't want to jump too far ahead here, but I'm thinking maybe the split didn't go as planned. Did you leave or were you kicked out?
Yeah, I was kicked out. I got kicked out. So, but it was weird. I wanted to leave anyway, and I was definitely drinking too much and being a dickhead. And like the singer sacked me, and then the rest of the band said they didn't know about it. So the singer offered me like a second chance to join again, and I was like, well, I can't really do it now, can I? Do you know what I mean? That's just gonna be really weird. So I like just burn the bridge and just get over it. So that's what happened in the end.
But you toured in America as well. You were saying earlier, you'd done big stuff with these guys.
Yeah, we done like we did a great American tour with Jeff Rosenstock, and they're called AJJ now, but at the time they were called Andrew Jackson Jihad. And they're like a massive band in America. They're amazing. They write songs about killers, and they're brilliant. So we toured with those two guys, and honestly, it really was like a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah. So why did you want to leave?
Just because this is a thing, right? I when I decided I wanted to stop running and do music, it was because I felt compelled to create something myself. I really wanted to have like control of what I was doing, and you know, I bowed out at like a really good level of the sport, and I think I joined Future to the Left, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and it certainly wasn't. The band wasn't as big as I thought the band could be. I think we could have been bigger, and it felt like I'd sacrificed a lot for something a lot less successful. I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but that's just how it felt.
Yeah.
I think that just manifested in me acting like drinking too much and just having like living with a lot of regret that at 25 I came sixth in the World Championships, and now I was like 30, 31, and we were playing like empty stages in Merthyr, and like it just didn't feel like I'd done myself just service, or I don't know. It felt like I made a bad deal. That's what it was, and I just had to I just acted like a dickhead as a result.
You know what? Like everyone's been there, and that's. I mean, I've done audiences of 2 in the last, very recently, especially distanced audiences of 2. In fact, audiences of 4, which is even weirder than a big massive. I know how that feels. I've done that when I was in a band as well. As I said, I feel your pain, and I know all of those things. Though I feel like at the end of it, on reflection, I'm kind of glad I went through it. Though, do you not think that just?
Yeah, totally. Because I don't know. It's a weird one. Like, because if I think about what made me a good runner, was that I was prepared to like hurt myself in training. I was really prepared to make it tough. I was prepared to run myself into the ground. I would train to the point where I would be ill because I trained so much. So there's like something like almost self-destructive there, but it led to something good. It led to me making really good progress quite quickly. And then that in a band, I found that I still had that self-destructive nature, but instead of training, I was hammering a rider. I don't know. It was like I was pushing myself, still pushing myself, but in the wrong direction. So I feel like I have to go through all that to just realize this is nonsense. Like, you obviously like working hard and you've got quite an addictive personality. So let's do something good with it.
And
maybe,
of course,
yeah.
And of course, at that point, so you made that decision. It was time for a change. So what happened next?
Well, it took a couple of years for me to get my ass into gear. So maybe 3 years of not being in Future to the Left. I had like an office job. It was like my first normal office job. And I just became one of those guys that I was just living for the weekend. I was really looking forward to the weekend so I could just drink. And then we had a little boy who's 3 now. And it was kind of, I don't know, I was still going out and getting drunk like I was in my 20s, but then having to look after a 1-year-old boy, it was just ridiculous. So I just realized that something had to be done. And my wife bought me this framed photograph of me on the start line in the World Championships. And there's like nothing in the house running related. So I put it up on the wall. I took a photo, put it on Facebook. Then someone sent me a link to the race. And like my wife she didn't know me when I was a runner. So we watched the race together. And there's a little bit where 24-year-old me, who looks really healthy, really skinny, like waves to the camera on a start line in the World Championships. And my wife said, "Oh, look, I recognize that smile." But she only meant it as like a comment, like just.
Yeah.
And literally that night we went to bed and I was just lying in the dark. What does she mean? She recognizes that smile. Like, do I not smile anymore? What is going on? And that was it. That was it. I realized my issue wasn't that I put a lot of weight on or that my hair had fallen out. My issue was that I'd lost that 24-year-old version of myself. I'd lost the best version of myself. And I was just thinking, well, why was I so happy then? And it was just like simple, because I ran. So I just started running again. It just became so easy. I've been battling with my weight for 2 or 3 years. And I suddenly, it's not about losing weight. It's about regaining like a version of yourself.
I love it. Mate, it's really inspiring. It's I love that moment. I recognize that smile. I know, as you've said, your wife didn't mean anything by that, but actually that's a really, really profound moment. Because I think I would have lay in my bed that night as well, just going, shit, what does she mean? What's the hidden message in all of this? But so you realised that actually, well, you realised that your wife and son came first, of course, but also your true love after that is running. But this takes us to what you're doing now, I guess. So go and let everyone know how the YouTube videos and things have come around.
Like, do you know, you must know this, being creative people. Do you know, if you have an idea that feels totally original and it pops into your head out of nowhere and you just think, where has that come from, right? I had that, but I had like 3 in one day, and I was just walking down this shittier street in Llanelli, like such a dirty, horrible street, coming back from co-op. And these 3 like ideas out of nowhere popped into my head, and one of them was like, what if I reviewed music when I was running and nobody else could hear the music? And I just walked home chuckling. I was like, that's crazy. That's either going to be brilliant or rubbish. So I was like, right, I put it on Twitter. According to Q magazine, these are 4 of the greatest debut albums ever, and I haven't heard any of them. Which one should I run to? And Spice Girls won, like Spice World. Obviously, there were like some really cool albums on there as well, but Spice World won. So I messaged my mate and I said, look, I'm going to run to Spice Girls tomorrow in an Hawaiian shirt, and I'm just going to film my face as I listened to Spice Girls for the first time. So I did it, and then I edited all the footage together, and I just looked there and I just thought to myself, I can't put this online. It's the first week of lockdown. Like, everybody feels like the world is ending. The last thing they need is this. And I just thought, you know what, let's just do it. And I just put it online, and it was like I'd spent years trying to write a song that people would share on social media. Like, that people would go, oh, check out this chorus, it's amazing. And it never happened. And that, I just left my phone alone for 10 minutes, and it was just going crazy.
Amazing. Well,
yeah.
It's, mate, do you realise, do you know that through this crazy idea that you had that day, that actually you are lifting people's spirits and energy on a daily basis, mate? There's people, I went through a lot of the comments and stuff. This crazy, silly idea that you've had is actually, and I think maybe lockdown added to it in a good way. I don't know, but but literally people all over the world, Jimmy, watching your videos and being inspired by you running, reviewing music, and we can't even hear the music.
I know. What's that all about? It's mad. But I figured, like, if food reviews work, then why can't this work? Because people talk about food, you can't even taste it. So,
well, it's funny actually that you mentioned that, because it turns out, well, I'll show you 2 messages. Firstly, Stephen's back, and secondly, he's just announced that he's going to start a channel and review food while running.
Brilliant.
You're on. We're on. I don't know. How can you have a food off? We'll have a food off. We'll see who can eat the most and run.
Yeah, I'd win that one. And listen, we've got Paul jumping in there saying the Spice World video is amazing. That's what made me try running in a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, amazing. Paul goes on Twitter under the name Sauce, and his Twitter handle is Done Tweeting. Check him out, right? He is amazing. He asked me for a training plan. And on the phone, he said, I'm 30 years old, I'm 20 stone, I've never run before, but you've made me want to run. Can you get me running? So I wrote him a training plan, and I was like, it was just stuck in my mind. I just kept thinking about him. I thought, I hope he can do it, because he really needs to do it. Just talking to him, I was like, this guy really needs to start running, and I really hope he can do it. And then he put a video up of day one, and honestly, it's probably, I felt watching it how people probably feel when they see the running reviews. I just felt so happy for the guy. So yeah, check him out,
mate. You're changing people's lives.
It's like,
Jimmy, do you want to share those other 2 ideas that you had, mate? Maybe there's a few things you have from them.
One of them was really silly. One of them was like, I was thinking, why, when you learn foreign languages, is it the first thing you learn, like the name of farm animals? And I just figured, if I ever got stuck in a foreign country, I'd go to a farm and get a pig to do all the talking for me. That was one of the ideas. And then I was just kind of thinking, what would be the best animal to take from a farm if you were stuck in a foreign country to do all the talking for you? That's a silly idea. But the other one was, spin class. Everybody loves spin class. When you do a spin class for runners, so you have a runner on a treadmill in the front, and then loads of treadmills around them, and you all just run together, listening to punk music.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So
it's a bit harder to move running machines than, I guess, bicycle machines, but yeah, I quite like that.
It could work, because you could all do different speeds, but you could all be on there for half hour. Like, you don't have to. That's the good thing about spin, is you can work as hard as you want. So you could have, like, first-time runners running for half hour with the rest of the class. So, but that's my idea, and I'm trying to make that happen.
That's a brilliant idea, Jimmy.
So Jimmy, what next? What's happening now?
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I've just turned some hose on really fast, and I'm just watching the hose go around the room, and I'm like, when certain bits get wet, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll go look at that. That's quite interesting. So I really don't know. I think running punks, we've got a run club in Cardiff, and I think we've got enough people around the world now to like set them up in different cities around the world, which is crazy. So yeah, I think it's like run clubs around the world.
Well, there's a message from Paul right there saying that it's changed his life already.
There we are.
That's what you're doing, mate. So
I wonder, is there a way that you can have? I mean, maybe this already exists. Tell me if I'm wrong. That if you have like one ear, you've got the album playing, and then in the other ear, you've got your commentary going on simultaneously. So you've got a little taste of both. As you're running along, you're getting both worlds. So if it's an album I'm unfamiliar with, like that, of course, that wouldn't be the Spice World album. It's unfamiliar with, that you can get both of those going on simultaneously. Or would that be too much?
I think that'd be cool. I really want to do like a 30-minute audio thing as well. So, because like part of the thing of Running Punks is about, like, I'm really passionate about the music scene, but particularly in Wales, because that's where I am. And I love like underground bands. And we filmed the Run Club on a Sunday, and then I put like a local band on top of the footage. And I would love to have something where once a week I get like new bands, and then I talk as if I'm running with you. And then you just download it, like a half-hour run, and we'll just go running together or something. So, yeah, something similar to what you're saying, I think.
And do you take requests, Jimmy? Do you think, now that you've been on the Showoffs podcast, we could maybe ask, because I know everyone will say, "Oh, do that song, do that album," but do you think we would be able to pick a couple of songs for you?
I will you can jump the queue, because the mad thing about it is, like, on a good week, I can only do 2 a week. Yeah. I started off doing 3 a week, and it was crazy. I was in bits. Like, I run pretty much every day, but I don't run shouting music every day. Like,
well, we have 2 songs that we would like to suggest.
Let me write it down.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Kev and I, as I said, we were in a sketch show called The Colour Ham for a few years with our friend Colin. It's a good name. And we, albeit it was a comedy sketch and magic show, and it was very adult, very off the wall, we actually really thought about the music a lot. Like, every piece of music was there for a reason. You know, as the audience were coming into the room, there were certain hand-picked tracks. They always started quiet, and they built and got louder and louder. So by the time we were due to come on stage, people were having to shout to hear each other. So the energy in the room was absolutely massive, right? So we were always thinking about certain tunes, but there was 2 songs in particular that our audience, for years at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, people used to email and say, "What was that song?" Right? So there's 2 in particular. You don't need to do both, obviously, but if you could pick one of these, that would be phenomenal. The first one is a song called Death by White Lies.
Oh, yeah, I know that song.
It's a phenomenal song. Yeah. And the other, you may not know, it's a song called Holy Touch, and it's by a band called Foxy Shazam.
Foxy Shazam.
Yes. Now, Foxy Shazam are spectacular, mate. Spectacular. So those 2 songs, if you could pick one of them, that would be absolutely incredible. A couple other comments coming in.
I just quickly add something there as well? This is something I didn't discuss with you, Gav, but Jimmy, can I add to the list a song that I played with my band? No,
Jimmy, no.
I'll send you. No one's heard of it. Gav's not listened to any of the music that I made when I was younger for a good reason. But I'll send you one of the rocky ones down, one that you can actually run to.
Nah, bullshit. Shite, Jimmy, don't do it. Right, listen, we've got a lovely comment in here from LH. I'm not sure what that stands for, but thanks for joining us tonight. Jimmy is such an inspiration to me. Ask him if he'd ever run to another Slipknot album. It's Laura. Sorry, her name's right there at the end of the message. Sorry, Laura.
Nah, no way. That's the only band I had to knock off. I had to turn them off. I don't know. Like, and I felt like I had to really justify it. I didn't want to come across as like a wimp. Like, I can't listen to Slipknot. But really, there's just nothing there. They sound like the best cricket team in the world.
Yeah, man, I agree.
Like, it's just everything. Just oh my god, right? It was all just one note. and nothing happened. It sucked.
Well, listen,
Never.
we've got Lewis there. Now, this is actually my nephew, Jimmy. Lewis is my nephew, and Lewis's taste in music is extraordinary, as you can tell from his picture there. We're big Kiss fans in our family, but Jimmy should listen to the musical version of The War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne. I think the first track would be great for running. Definitely something. There's something in that for sure.
There's a rumor that Richard Burton's my granddad. So is that the one that he's doing?
I think you might be right. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's good to know as well that Stephen's back. He says, check out my brother's band, Shitty Neighbours. That's a great name for a band.
I tell you what, spell Neighbours with a U, and I might fucking do it.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
In the States, isn't he? He's in America, so he may have.
That
might be his legit spelling.
Chuck the U in. I'll think about it.
What's your 800 time these days, then, Jimmy? Are you getting around the track in less than 2 minutes?
Well, I did a 600. Someone before the running reviews happened, someone wanted to do like a short film about me, and this film crew came down from London and we were filming, and they were like, we want you to return to the track. That's what we want to film. So I entered a track race and I pussied out of the 800. I entered a 600 and I ran in 1 minute 30, so I was on target for a 2 minute 800. But then I got so ill afterwards. Like I was ill for the rest of the year. It was crazy. Like I finished the race, then I had this shiver, and it just lasted. That was in October, and I was shivering all the way through to January. It was I don't know what happened.
Well, if Gav and I came down to Wales, would you race us?
Yeah, anybody. That's what I do. I stand at the border and I race anybody who crosses.
Yeah, Jimmy, I don't think you want to take me on. I'm a machine.
I can tell.
Yeah, I thought you could tell. Yeah. I could see it on your face. You were thinking, this guy is a sprinter. Jamie, are you up for playing a game?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Every single week we play a game called Word or Not a Word. Now,
word or not a word. Word not a word.
Word or not a word.
Word or not a word.
So pick that well.
Everybody that's listening in, apologies to those that are on the download over the next few days and weeks, but everybody that's with us live, you need to join in the comments, remember. Okay, so the word this week is Schmoobot.
Oh,
Schmoobot. Now, Kev and Jimmy, you obviously the three of us can have a wee chat around this. We can, we can try and work it into sentences, see what sounds right, what doesn't sound right. Everyone in the comments, though, let us know, is Schmoobot a word or not a word? What do you think, lads? What do you think?
Like a schmoobotomy. If you have a schmoobotomy, I'm going to... Oh.
And you know what it sounds like? It sounds to me like it's out of one of these kind of 2000s American generic comedies, and someone who's really good at schmoozing, and they've got it down to such a fine art that it's almost robotic, and that's what a schmoobot. It's something that that guy from Saved by the Bell, Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Wow, Dave. Woo!
That was my nickname in school, Screech.
Oh, nice.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think Kev's was Schmoobot.
It's a great word.
Someone built a robot Schubert, the composer.
It has got that German feel to it, hasn't it? Schmoo.
Yeah, it does a wee bit. So we've got James on the comments saying no, Rachel saying no, Lewis saying not a word, Paul saying that's a word. It's 2020. Of course, schmoobot's a word. We've got Stephen saying schmoobot yourself out the door. We've got Michael telling us, oh hey Michael Johnson from Troon saying it's a robot cow that teaches you a foreign language. Paul saying it sounds like a machine designed to kiss cows. We've got Alistair saying not a word. So I'd say it's definitely leaning towards not a word there's a few people saying it is a word, but it's definitely leaning towards not a word. So Kev and Jimmy, you've got about 30 seconds left to make your minds up.
I would say, Jimmy, in fact, guess first. What would you say?
I think is a word now because it is 2020, but I don't know.
I don't know. You normally give us a sentence, Gav, don't you? Do you want to give us a sentence to sort of help us out?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of the.
These are pretty good.
So yeah. So the. I'm trying to think of a sentence that it works with properly. So
you fuck.
What are you talking about, Kev? Yeah, hang on. Are you doubting me here? Why are you laughing, Kev? Is it because are you laughing because you think I'm trying to think of something fast on my feet? Fuck it. There we go. It's not a word, you prick.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, listen, just before we start to wrap up, guys, right? So Jimmy, see, every single week, right, I sit throughout the show and I eat all sorts of snacks, right?
Yeah.
And I actually decided this week, I've been sitting just munching on tiny wee bits of carrot. I don't know if you can see them. My daughter. Is
that a real carrot?
Well, look at that. My daughter grew it. Look at that.
Wow.
Right? But can I show you something absolutely incredible? Wait till you see this, right?
You need to get close for this, Jimmy.
Right. See how you've got little sort of bits of bruising and stuff? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Focus. Hold your hand behind it.
Look at that. Look at that. Guys, if you look carefully, it's Boy George.
Oh, man. That is so bizarre. Mate, how many weeks in a row have you found items of food with faces on them now?
Oh, Kev, it's such a coincidence that every week this happens. Stop it.
I know.
Jimmy, I had the face of Skeletor in a Belvita biscuit one week, which was quite incredible there. Listen, Jimmy, just mate, a massive thank you for your time. Honestly, your story, it might be strange to you that people are responding the way they're responding, but actually, mate, you're really inspiring, and you're getting people to think differently, and you're encouraging people to get out there and run. You're encouraging people to sorry,
Jimmy, I've just had an idea.
You remember you are running now.
I'm going to add an extra song. Can you please put Tiffany's "I Think You're Alone Now" on that list?
Oh, yes.
We need to get Tiffany. Sorry, Gav, I know you're just doing your sort of motivational speech there, roundup thing, but just an idea.
This could be it.
And could you mention us? Could you say something like these guys, blah blah blah? Because that might happen.
I'll take the Boy George carrot with me. I'll take the Boy George carrot with me. I know what you're thinking. Whose carrot is this? I'll explain to her. I'll say, well, this is my new training.
No, that would be amazing. Great idea, Kev. Great shout, mate. Great shout.
Yeah. So, is she on Twitter then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do a running review of hers then. Okay, I'll do it this week.
We've tried so hard.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I'll totally slate it or say his shit.
Don't do that.
You'll get us in trouble.
We love that song.
So, but Jimmy, as we're saying, you've not only making people run, mate. You're making people laugh and smile and feel great, but you're also helping people to discover some great tunes, mate. I'd never heard of the band Thrice, but that particular album, whilst it's maybe not my favorite album in the world, mate, I've been listening to it whilst I've been running. So a big thank you for that. So. Listen, before we say cheerio to you properly, we just there's one message has come in here to do with the Tiffany cameo. So James has asked if we've ponied up for the 50 quid. Now, James, we want to say we were going to do this tonight, mate. We want to say a huge thank you to James Hanna because he chucked, I think it was 35 quid. He chucked into the cameo, Kev.
That's amazing.
Which is just absolutely incredible, which means, Kev, you and I do have to stump up the other £50. So, Kev,
yeah, we do. We
will do that.
If there are people out there who want to just, chip it, there's still time. What's the link again, Gav?
It is right here. Just give me 2 seconds.
crowdfunder.co.uk/Tiffany/on/Showoffs/podcast. But like £5, and you'll be able to ask Tiffany a question.
Yeah,
You
and
get to ask her.
I can't help but feel my inner immaturity coming out right now. Every week we have to put that on the screen as well. There we go. Right, listen. Next week we've got another guest. Kev, we've got another guest.
Who we got? Gav?
The absolute legend, stand-up comedian Billy Kirkwood. As I all know, we've had some great guests so far. We've had Jimmy tonight. We've had Lionel from Thundercats. We've had Jason Byrne. But next week we have the legend that is Billy Kirkwood, actor, comedian, wrestling commentator. That is just the coolest thing, and one of the loveliest guys you'll ever meet in showbiz. Jimmy Watkins, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So big round of applause for Jimmy Watkins.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I feel like we should do a little song to play us out.
Kev, are you going to? Oh, Jesus.
How did you get that guitar? I didn't even see you pick it up.
You're on my lap the whole time, Jimmy.
It's not his guitar.
Jesus came from outer space and traveled to beyond the stars. For camp for peace on earth, and he left in a second-hand car. That'll do.
It is. The album's right there. Nice. Just listen, a couple more amazing comments coming in. Paul saying love the show, came for Jimmy, and I'll be checking out your back catalogue and tuning in future. Paul, thank you so much, mate.
There's been so many great episodes in the past. Do check us out. You'll find us on Spotify, all of those sort of normal podcasts.
Apple, Amazon, all the usual things.
I'm going to listen back and rate the other guests compared to me.
Yeah, mate, do it. And you've got to listen to the one. You've got to listen to the ones where it's just me and Kev, because we don't have to speak some pish. So listen, big thank you to everyone for tuning in. Jimmy, stay exactly where you are. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Much love. We will see you next week, 9:00, same place, same time, with Billy Kirkwood. Stay safe, everyone. Woo!
Hey, everyone.
Show off. La 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 la.
La 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 la.